out there. Who says?
It might be the wildest one too.
All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. We may have a couple more come in, but this is just about everybody. I looked over everything for the rest of the class this week. So I think we'll do tonight. Remember, there's going to be 2 weeks off. We're not going to do next week. Next week's Easter, so we're not going to meet. And then the week after, we will be on vacation, so we can't meet that week either. And then we're going to do 2 more after that. So there's tonight and 2 more classes total, and we'll be done. In those final 2 classes, we're going to talk about long-term investing in one, and we'll do one just on giving. And that's how we'll wrap up this class, so should be good on that. But tonight, I'm hoping this is a super light and practical one. We're going to talk about saving money, okay? We're going to talk about 2 type of savings funds, and then I've got 30 money saving tips, okay? These are, I just went through, I've got anything from travel to vehicles to groceries to shopping. We got 30 tips. Hopefully, at least some of them I know you've never heard of. Some of them you're like, I tried it, wouldn't work maybe, but I think there's some good stuff in there. Hopefully we can help you save a few bucks. So that should be good. But I want to talk about the first fund I want to talk about. I've mentioned it a couple of times. We mentioned it. We talk about his baby steps. It is an emergency fund. Okay, so we talked about the starter emergency fund. He suggests $1,000. I gave a couple other ideas, maybe highest deductible, maybe 1 month of expenses, just whatever you're really comfortable with. And then the third baby step is the fully funded emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of expenses. So I want to talk about 2 elements of this. It's kind of self-explanatory what 3 to 6 months of expenses is. It's whatever your expenses are times, or 1 month's expenses times 3 or 6. The 2 elements I want to talk about is 1, where do you put it? Where do you have this savings account? Where do you have this money? And 2, how do you know whether to go 3 months or 6 months? That's a question a lot of people have. So here's some guidelines I would give for this as far as how to know how much you have. I think if you are in a household, Pastor showed up today. I know, I sat right beside you guys. I think if you're in a household with 2 incomes and you don't have any kids in the house, I think you can probably go a lot closer to 3 months. I think definitely if you're in a household with 1 income, or if you've got younger children, I would probably go closer to 6 months. I would say if you have an irregular income, I would probably go closer to 6 months. Because these emergencies, it's for, something pops up you weren't expecting, car breaks down, injury, whatever. But the biggest thing is if you lose your job. That's really what you're trying to protect. So if you're in a household with 1 income, I'm building that up really close so you can survive and just throttle down on expenses and you can make it until you find another job. If you're single, you can go a lot closer to 3 months. Single, no kids, you can be 3 months and be just fine. So that's kind of how you find, those are some guidelines of how you find how much you want in that emergency fund. But a big question people have is, where do you put it? Do you just have it in your checking account? You just know that's what it's for? Do you find just any old savings account? There's a lot of things you can do, but I would suggest, and what Dave Ramsey suggests, is what's called a high yield savings account. So depending on where you bank, probably the bank you have offers this as an option, a high yield savings account. And even if they don't, some of the best ones, I'm going to give you some examples tonight, are actually on online banks that aren't brick and mortar, but you can open just this high yield savings account just to have your emergency fund in. So what are you looking for? What are the benefits of this, and what are you looking for? Like, we have state employees. Because Mom was a teacher, we have state employees. And I was looking at it one day, and the savings account, I think it was like, you got like 0.1% interest or like 0.25% interest. And I was like, really? That's all we're going to get is 0.25%? That seems really low. And so state employees actually offers a high yield savings account that gets a little more. But in some of these, you can actually get like 3 or 4% on your money, depending on what account you choose to use. And is that a great investment? Is that going to make you a millionaire? No. But it is going to probably keep up with inflation on most years. So it's good to if you can put your emergency fund in an account that's getting 3% and not touch it, that's probably going to basically keep up with inflation. Whereas if you have it somewhere that's like 0.1% or 0.2%, inflation is going to be running away from you. Now, is it the biggest deal in the world? No, but it will help to find that. And the 3 things you're really looking for when you're looking at these accounts, you want an FDIC insured. What that means is, no matter what happens, if the bank goes kaput, if somehow somebody gets a hold of your account and steals your money, you are covered up to $250,000 if it is FDIC insured. I don't think anyone in here, 6 months of expenses is more than $250,000. If it is, we need to cut back on the lifestyle a little bit. All right, we can trim some stuff up if that's the case, right? But if it's FDIC insured, which any credit union is already going to be that, like, you want to make sure it's that, because if it's not and someone gets a hold of your money, it actually could be gone depending on what happens there. But if it's FDIC insured, which every bank has to tell you if it is, you just ask that question, they'll know exactly what you're talking about, then you're good. No fees or minimums. You just don't want to be paying a monthly or a yearly fee if you only are using this for emergencies. I think that's a big thing if you're going to open up a new account. And then you want it liquid. You want it to where you can get the money out of it in 3 days if you have, in a week if you have to, right? Because if something's tied up in an account where it's like you hold it for 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and you can't get that money, well, that's not a good place to have your emergency fund, because what if an emergency happens in year 1? And you're like, I can't get my money for 4 years. That's not a good place. So you want it to be FDIC insured. You want it to have no fees or minimums, and you want it to be liquid. I wouldn't, if you're looking for one of these, if you find one that works, it fits all these, and you're getting like 3% interest, and then you put your money in that, and then you find another one, you're like, oh, this one's getting 3.5%. That's not enough to worry about anything. You're not looking at the percentages that way. You really just want to make sure it hits all 3 of these criteria. And if you park your money there and leave it and just only touch it in emergencies, that's going to be perfectly fine. Laurel Road, I gave this example. This is an online bank, and you can literally go on, you create an account online, and all you do is you just put in your bank account information and you can transfer money in there. I looked today, this one gets 3.8% right now, this savings account. And in the past couple, it's actually down. It's been up to like 5.1 at times over the past few years. So those numbers can vary a little bit, but laurelroad.com, you can just open an account. I mean, we can walk through it if you want to do that a little later. But that's just one example. There's a ton of these online. You can probably just Google best high yield savings accounts. Look it up, and that's a great place to park your money. So that's kind of 2 big questions about emergency funds. How do I know how much to put in there? Where do I put it? And then the other question is, what counts as an emergency? And that's kind of going to be up to you. Typically, vacations are not an emergency. Typically, buying a birthday present for somebody is not an emergency, right? Emergencies are when things go wrong. When something goes wrong, you lose a job, like I said, car breaks down, something big. Those are, it can be tempting if you just have money sitting there that could help you in other areas, but it is important to kind of protect that as an emergency fund. The other thing I wanted to mention, the other savings account, like tonight we're talking about savings, right? Investing, you're thinking anything like 3 years or longer in the future. Savings is for a short goal. So a sinking fund, we're going to watch a 5-minute video clip on it here in just a second. This is for just things that are coming up in the short term that are coming up. Just 2 examples where I used a sinking fund recently. I know I'm selling my truck soon, and there's a little dent in the side, and I was saving up to fix that dent. Like, that was just an event I knew was coming. It's not an emergency, but it's something I was saving up for. The other sinking fund I've been using recently is our trip to Chicago. I've been putting money aside every month because I knew we were going on this vacation. So we're going to watch this video. This is actually Dave Ramsey's daughter, She's going to explain what a sinking fund is and how to use it to save up for things coming up in the future, or short-term goals. And then we will go back and talk about it a little bit. This is the only video we're watching today, so 5 minutes long, we're good.
But one element when it comes to personal finance that really helps you save and helps you stay on track are sinking funds. So what a sinking fund is where you save a little bit of money every month for something specific. Okay, so maybe you're going on a vacation. You could have a sinking fund where you're saying, I'm gonna save X amount each month towards that vacation. Maybe you're gonna replace a car. You save it towards the car each month. That is what a sinking fund is. Some people, they kind of just want to have a big savings account and take the money out when they need a big expense. Or other people love sinking funds. I love a good sinking fund because I love being as detailed as possible, because details, it's not my personality. I am a free spirit. So when I know I have this goal and I'm saving a little bit towards it every month, it just feels so great. So there are 4 main pros for having sinking funds. 1, you know you're saving towards something fun that you want. So again, whether it's a bridesmaid's dress because you're in your friend's wedding, or it's a vacation, or it's a new car, I don't know what it is. You're redoing your kitchen, maybe you have a kitchen remodel. It's something exciting. So the savings goal, it really gives you some motivation. Say, yes, I will put money away each month because of this fun thing that I'm gonna get to experience or that I get to save for. Number 2, it helps you save for anything. Sometimes big purchases feel overwhelming. It's like, oh wow, this is like, this big savings goal I have. You see the total and you think, oh, it's a lot of money. But what it does is it helps you show, yes, bite-sized pieces go a long way. So saving for anything will help with the sinking fund. Number 3, it removes the guilt of buying things. This is my favorite. Remove that shame, remove that guilt, because you say, yes, I have saved every single month for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of money for this item, for this experience, whatever it is, and you save for it so you can buy it without guilt, without shame. It also helps you save for expected emergencies. Okay, this is where Dave Ramsey and I disagree a little bit. Listen, I am so for you having sinking funds for like a lot of things, okay? Not just a purchase you want to make in the future, but when you know things are going to happen. If you have pets, more than likely at some point during this pet's life, maybe they're gonna have to have surgery. Maybe you're gonna have to take them to the pet hospital. They're gonna have to go to the vet. I don't know. So you can just put a little bit of money away each month for the pet. So if something comes up, when it comes up, you don't have to dip into your actual emergency fund. You've been saving for this little category all these years, and there's some money there. And there it is. Or for your car, okay? You know you're gonna have to buy tires, or maybe you have a used older car and you think, okay, I'm probably gonna have to replace the transmission at some point, like it's gonna break down. So maybe you have a car fund, maybe you have a sinking fund for car repairs, and every month just put a little bit away. So when you have that repair, there's the money. And then maybe you have a whole nother sinking fund for replacing the car. Maybe in 2 years you wanna buy a new car, so a little bit of money. Okay, it takes a level of discipline that probably just stressed a lot of you out. But I love looking at life to know as much as I can control and I can save and I can plan, the better off I feel, the better off life is. Now, you have your fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, okay? That's there. So what Dave Ramsey would say is, when the vet bill comes or when you have to have your car repaired, you just take it out of the emergency fund. So I would say that is okay advice. You can do that, that's fine, that's what it's there for. But if you know that there's going to be emergencies, why not plan even more for them? Am I stressing some of you out? I might be. Okay, now here's the thing you have to remember sinking funds too. If you do exactly what I just said, that means you're probably going to have a lot. Like you could have 6, 10 sinking funds, and it can get really confusing really fast. So I would always have a separate account aside from your emergency fund, another account, and you just have to keep up with it and say, okay, here's this amount of money in this account. This percentage is for, vet bills, this percentage is for the new car, this percentage is for the vacation we're saving up for. It can all be in one account. You don't want a separate savings account for all these sinking funds, but you just know, I'm putting extra money away every month for these things in life. And it doesn't have to be a big amount of money. It really doesn't. But when you know there's an expense coming, you know how much it is, you can back it out time-wise and know how many months you need to save and how much to save per month. Put it away in that fund and the money will be there when you need it. So great. So if you want more information, you can use EveryDollar. They help you really categorize your sinking funds and walk with you through that.
So you get the idea. This is very much not a new idea, right? This is a very old idea. If you know something's coming up, just put a little money away every month and be preparing for it. Like, I can just go ahead and tell you, I don't know how many of you know this, Christmas is gonna be in December this year. It is gonna happen in December. So how a sinking fund would work, if you're thinking about this and thinking about, you can call it whatever you want, but they call it sinking fund. You can say, hey, I'm just gonna put like $50 aside every month. We got 9 months till Christmas. And if you did that, you've got $450 sitting there in December for Christmas presents, as opposed to waiting till December and trying to come up with $400, $500 to get all these Christmas gifts for everybody. If you just put a little bit away every month, you just have money there, right? Shelby and I have been doing this for our trip to Chicago for months now. We've just been putting some away every month. And that way, we're not sitting here right now thinking, oh my goodness, how are we going to pay for food in Chicago? We already know it's already there because we've just been using this. She said have another account. I would just put it in whatever savings account you already had. If you have an emergency fund, if you're using a normal one, I would just put it aside there and just kind of know, hey, I've put this much away for Christmas presents or for vacation in Jamaica or wherever you're going. Just have a little money set aside. These are the two big savings things that we talk about. Emergency funds and funds like this, saving up for actual purchases. Anything outside of like 2 years, 3 years down the road, anything farther than that is investing. And that's kind of in a different category, and we're going to talk about that in our next go around together, in our next class. But these are the two big savings goals. One is emergency fund, because life is just easier when you have an emergency fund. And two are things like that, just saving up for purchases that you know are coming. That way you're not scrambling or throwing something on a credit card when the time comes because you don't have the money, you're not ready. It's just basically thinking ahead. It's just basically thinking ahead and being prepared. And so in light of this and talking about saving money, I wanted to talk about what are some tips to save money in all facets of life. And I told you, I think I've already said this, I told somebody, I may have said it right here, I came up with 30 tips, 30 different money saving tips for every facet of life. A lot of these I got from my wife because she is dialed in on this, on saving money on groceries and clothes and all kinds of stuff. So some of it comes from her, some of it came from Google, and some of it comes from me. So we're circling the globe on this one. But there are 3 keys to saving money on purchases. 3 big keys. One is contentment. If you cannot get this, if you cannot get contentment, you're really going to struggle to save money. What I mean by contentment is not just being happy with what you have. Obviously, you're getting something new. So obviously, you're not just happy with what you have. What I mean is you don't always need the absolute best and the absolute newest.
Amen.
If you can get there and you're not trying to impress anyone, that's the biggest thing people struggle with, is they want the best phone, the best watch, the best car, the best whatever to impress people, often who don't even really know you and you're not even really that close with. That's such a big deal. If you can dial in on contentment when you're making a purchase, then we can go a long way with just that. If you can be okay with not having the top of the line thing, I think probably younger people struggle with this more with the influence of social media and things. But everyone can fall into this. Everybody can fall into this. I don't care if you're 17 or 77. Everybody can fall into this. So that's the first key. The second one is patience. Sometimes if there's a big purchase coming, we'll talk about it as we go. Being patient and not having to have it right now can really benefit you when it comes to saving money. And we'll talk through how that works a little bit, but patience is a really big deal when it comes to saving on purchases. And then planning. Everything we're going to talk about, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's tedious, sometimes it feels maybe even hard. You don't have to do these things. You can pay full price right away. That's fine. That is your choice. But if you practice contentment, patience, and planning, You really can. You really can save a lot of money. And we are going to talk through how to do some of that. So I think the first thing we're talking about is groceries. Yes, groceries. So how many of you have known like a couponer, big coupon person? My aunt does it. Like she coupons all the time. Dude, that's a lot of work. Okay? You can do it. If you do it, great. More power to you. Go ahead. That is a lot of work. A really simple way to do that, where you're not really doing any work, is there are places. This is what Shelby grinds on this. She loves this stuff. There are places that literally just have weekly ads. And Aldi and Food Line are the two she uses. I'm sure there's others. Where all you have to do is go on their website. You click the drop down that says weekly ads. And it pops up dozens and dozens of items that are for sale. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to print out a coupon, cut it out of the magazine. You don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is, oh, that's what's on sale. There you go. I'm going to buy, I'm getting carrots this week anyway. Instead of this brand, I'm going to get this brand that's on sale and save $2. It is that simple. And you think, wow, $2 for an item, that's not a lot. But if you get 20 items, I mean, you're talking about, you do that every week or every month, the savings pile up, and really it's not a lot of work. You basically just look on the website. You can have it out on your phone and then walk through the store and say, well, there it is right there. That's a big way to save. One that is harder is planning your meals. That's a lot more work to sit down of a week and plan out your meals. But if you do that, it frees you up to only buy the stuff you need. That way you're not going through and just buying everything in the store, not knowing what we're going to try to figure out to eat this week. You can kind of just know what you need to buy. Now that one is much more work than the first, but that is a good meal. And store pickup. Basically everywhere now, you can order online and go and pick it up for no charge, right? You can do that at Walmart, you can do that at Aldi, I know, you can do it probably at Lowe's Food and Food Line, I don't know. But literally you just order online and they bring it out to you. Do you get any money off? No, you don't get any money off. But what do you get? You're not walking through the aisles and seeing everything. You literally, there's two benefits actually. One is you just order things and you're not adding to it. They're just going to bring out what you ordered, right? That's a great perk. The other one is you actually see the subtotal going up on the website when you're ordering it. So when you're walking through the store, you see, okay, this is $5 and you put it in, but there's nowhere that shows you your whole bill unless you're walking through with a calculator. I had a friend's mom who used to do that. Kelly Parker used to do that, walk through the store. I remember that. But there's nowhere, you just got a basket, you just got a cart full of stuff. You don't know how much it is, but when you're typing it in online and you see it go from 77 to 89 to 94 to 113, then you start saying, wow, do I really need this? It just gives it right there in front of you. That's a big way to save money because you are not getting any more than what you need. They're not going to go through and see that the Little Debbie cakes look really good today and pick up a box. They're just not going to do it. They are going to give you what you need. That's a really good one. I'm really glad they have that now. And it helps a lot if you have kids to do that. Obvious ones like buy in bulk, Costco and Sam's, if you do have those. I know it's a little inconvenient for us because they're kind of far away. We don't have that, but that can help people. Comparing different stores, again, it seems ridiculous to do that for groceries. You're like, really, I'm going to go through and compare stores? But I'm telling you, Shelby has a list. If she's getting yogurt, she's going to Walmart. If she's getting this, she's going to Aldi. If she's getting this, she knows what the best prices are, and she goes through and does it. It is easier for her. She stays home, so she just takes care of the home, so she can do that. I understand if you have a job, you might be like, I don't have time to do that, but it does help. Man, it does help, I'm telling you. And then generic brands is an obvious one. I just wanted to throw that in because, you already knew that, but I wanted to fill out my slot. I didn't have enough.
You ever heard of the Flip app?
The Flip app. No, I got some apps in here, but I've not heard of the Flip app.
Okay,
What's
we'll
that
talk about
about?
when you get
No, what is it?
It's FLIPP.
Okay.
You put it on your phone, you open the app, put the product in you're looking for.
Okay.
And it brings up all the sale, where it's on sale this week.
Okay, so for groceries?
Yes.
Flip app.
Flip.
Write that down. I got some of those for some other things,
Yeah.
but I've not heard of that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I guarantee you Shelby uses that. If I asked her, I promise you she's dialed in on that app.
My wife has a soda addiction, and so that's what we use it for, sodas.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. I would say probably the biggest ones are the weekly ads are great, and then the store pickup. Those are probably the two best ones for groceries. So let's see what is next. Vehicles. Okay, vehicles. Sell your vehicles. If you are getting a new vehicle and you're selling it, you will get so much more money selling it on Facebook Marketplace than any trade-in. If you have ever traded in a car at a dealership, you know they're not going to give you what it's worth. You can look it up on Kelley Blue Book, and it can say it's $15,000. If you go to a dealership, they're going to give you 12. If you sell it on Marketplace, you might get 17. You might get a little more. I understand people not wanting to buy on Marketplace because people do all kind of craziness with their cars and tuning them up and souping them up, and so I understand that gets weird. But as far as selling your car on Marketplace, you can get thousands more dollars. Is it more inconvenient? Yes, it's a little more inconvenient. Does it take more time? Yes, it takes a little more time. But I'm telling you, if you're selling a $15,000 car, a car worth $15,000, you will get $3,000 or $4,000 more dollars. You can take a little more time. If someone was going to give you $4,000, you'd wait another week. Now, you might get a bunch of people messaging you and, oh, I'll give you $5,000 for it. I know that happens, but this is a great way to sell your car. That can get you a lot more money. Don't buy a new car unless you can really afford it. New cars are, man, you know how expensive they are now. Used cars work great, right? If you properly do your research, that's why I have research. If you properly do your research and get a good used car, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, the car's gonna work fine. And man, you know how quickly new cars depreciate, how quickly they go down in value. This is why cars are kind of unique in you're spending money on something that goes down in value. That's different than a house. That's different than many other things you invest in your life. Cars, if you buy a new car for $50,000 and you get a 5-year loan on it, let's say you do that. By the end of that 5-year loan, it's probably worth 30, and you've probably paid 60, right? And that's just not good math. You don't want to be spending $60,000 and then it's worth $30,000. That is not good math. So I would not buy a new car unless you can really, really afford it. Like you could pay for it in cash. Like today, I'll give you $65,000. Like that's what I'm talking about. I would buy used unless you're there. Research is huge when it comes to cars. You really want to make sure you've seen Carfax and different things about the car, because you don't want to buy something that's rusted out on the bottom and then you have a bunch of problems with it. Cars can be tough. Cars can be really tough. Here's one: car payments are not required. You do not have to have them. It is legal to just have your car without a payment. It is legal. I know it's not a lot of people do it. I know a lot of people get car loans. I'm not going to kill you for having a car loan, but I like this. This is not from Dave Ramsey. This is from another guy. He says if you're going to take out a loan for a car, as best you can for a personal vehicle, try to stick to 23/8. And what he means by that is you're able to put $20,000 down. You can do it on a 3-year or 36-month loan, and it's no more than 8% of your monthly income. Because if you got a car payment, like a new car payment right now is like $750. That's the average new car payment. That's a lot of money. Like if you have if you have that car payment, right? You're just paying that every month, and the interest is going up, and you're actually going to end up paying more than what you bought it for technically. I looked it up before I came in here. If you just invest $750 a month in a retirement account for 30 years from like age 35 to 65, and you can get 8%, that's well over $1 million. $1 million. If you just put that money in a high yield savings account like we talked about, because most loans are like 5 years, if you put $750 a month in a savings account, high yield savings account that gets 3% for 5 years, you'd have $49,000 in 5 years. That is a huge amount of money to save in 5 years. $49,000 just without a car payment rather than getting a new car. So if you get one that you can afford that's like 8% of your monthly income, you're not taking that big of a hit as you are with a new car. So that's something that can save you a lot of money in the long term. Again, it may not look as cool. It's not the top of the line, but it will save you money. Entertainment, just cancel unused subscriptions. That is, just go through. If you use it less than 3 times a month, like if it's just not a part of, or if it's Netflix and you haven't watched Netflix in 5-6 weeks, just get rid of it. You don't need it hanging around, and it might only be $10 a month. It might only be $12 a month. But if you do that for 2 years, you're talking about $300 if it's $12 a month after 2 years. That's such an easy thing. Honestly, if it's something you use on your phone, where's my phone? My phone's over there. If it's something you use on your phone, if you don't even know what subscriptions you have because you've lost count, one, you could look at your bank statement. That'll tell you because it comes out every month. 2, if it's something on your phone, you can go to like the settings and there's a tab for subscriptions and it'll tell you which ones you have. And you can just cancel those you're not using. That is a way to just save money quickly. Yearly subscriptions is a good way to save money. Sometimes yearly subscriptions versus monthly subscriptions, depending on how much it is, that can save you, $50, $100, $200 a year just buying the yearly version instead of the monthly version. I put especially around holidays because a lot of these places will do like 50% off at a holiday for the year. So you can get a whole year for like $50 as opposed to $12 every month. I know we were paying like whatever Peacock is, like $8 a month or whatever it was a couple years ago, and Shelby texted me on Black Friday. She was like, they're running a sale $20 for the whole year. And I went in, canceled it, put a new email in, and paid $20, got the whole year, as opposed to like $8 a month. So that's a way on entertainment you can save. And then know when your renewals are. Because if you like get one of those discounted months or something, you get like, free for 3 months, or you get $2.99 for 6 months, know when that renewal is, because when that is up, they're going full price. They're not going to message you and say, hey, it's running out in 3 days. When I do something, I put a note in my phone. What is it? Reminder. I put a reminder in my phone, so it's going to I see it like 3 days before it's up, so I can go in and cancel it. Because that's how, honestly, a lot of the unwanted subscriptions probably start, is you get it like, $3 for 6 months or something, and then it just keeps going and you never even look at it. So know when your renewals are. That can save you a little bit of money. Promo codes for events. There's every concert, every ball game, everything basically. You can find a promo code online for it. Every time we order a baseball ticket, we go to a lot of baseball games, I typically give Dad a discount. Like there's some coupon code, you get 15% off, or 20% off, 10% off. Because if you're buying tickets online, Dad knows this, the fees are crazy. The fees are like 30% of what the ticket was sometimes. So getting 20% off, that's really quick. Compare cell phone providers. Shelby and I just recently switched over to Visible, and it's like $25 a month per line. And they use the same things as Verizon, the same towers. So it's the same. Verizon works best at the camp, so that's why I wanted to get Verizon. I like some T-Mobile. Some of the bigger ones don't work as well. But I think Tello uses T-Mobile's towers. I think Visible uses Verizon's. I don't really know where Mint Mobile uses. I've just seen their ads, and they're pretty cheap, I think. So I would at least shop them. The only thing is you can't do family plans. So Shelby and I are on 2 separate plans. But like I said, it's $25 a month as opposed to $50 or $75 or $100 a month, depending on where you are. So that's a good way to save some money. And what I mean by be willing to take a deal. Visible, yes, Visible. Tello, Visible, and Mint Mobile. And what I mean by be willing to take a deal, this goes into more of the contentment part. When we switched over to Visible, Shelby had an iPhone 11, I think. And they were running a deal where you could get an entire year of service and an iPhone 13 for $400. So an entire year of service, $400, and you get a free iPhone 13. Now, if Shelby was like, nope, I want the newest thing, I want a 16, that'd have been fine, but then we would have been paying that $400 plus $800 or $900 or $1,000 for her phone. But she said, no, I'm good with the 13. I don't need the newest, nicest thing. So we got her a brand new phone and a year cell phone for $400. So be able to just have that contentment and say, I can get something a little bit older, a year or two, and that'll be just fine. I'll take the deal. That can save you. I mean, it saved us $1,000, $800, whatever, just right there. So those are some good things for. Okay, so travel. There's some interesting ones here. Tuesday, when you're booking flights, if you're flying somewhere on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, that is the cheapest day to fly. To actually have your plane take off and come back. They are cheaper on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Fridays and Sundays is the most expensive. So literally you can save dozens of dollars per ticket just flying on Saturday as opposed to Sunday. Like that, this is universal across, it doesn't matter if you're going Spirit or American. This is just how it is. Like, those are the days you want to book your flights if you can make it work. I know some vacations, you can't make it work. It's just you have certain days you have to get in and out. But those, you can save money just by doing that. Traveling off season to places, so maybe a little cooler time to go to the beach. That hotels are going to be cheaper. Everything's going to be cheaper getting there. Typically tourist locations have off seasons. Just kind of look up when those are and travel then. These are two websites. So Skyscanner and Google Flights. These are really good resources to use for flights. So Skyscanner, you just type in where you want to go, when you want to go, and it will search all the major airlines and give you all the flights and give you the best prices. Skyscanner does that, and that's a really cool part. That way you don't have to, let me go on this website, see what this is. Let me go on this website, see what this is. And you can put in specific airports, or you can just put in cities. If it's a city with multiple airports, you can just put in anything, and they will give you every flight from all around, from Greensboro, Asheville, wherever. So those are good. And Google Flights is another good place that really helps you compare flights really quickly. So that's a good one. That can save you a good bit of money. Shop hotel deals. Hotel points is really the best way to do it. If you have what is the holiday? What is it? Hilton. Yeah. Those are the best way really is just get hotel points by staying and purchases and different things. But I wanted to mention these two things. I don't know if maybe you know these, maybe you don't. Priceline, Express Deals, and Hotwire Rates. So this is an interesting thing that these two websites do. You can go in and it's Priceline's the website, and then they have what's called Express Deals. And you can go in and you can click the location you want to be in and the rating of the hotel. So 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, whatever. And it gives you it'll give you some options that are like 30 or 40% discounted. The only thing is you don't know the exact hotel you're staying in. It'll tell you what star rating the hotel is, what accommodations it has. It'll show you pictures. It just won't give you the actual name until the week before your trip. But you can literally get 40% off. And it's a nice hotel. It's like a 4-star hotel. So you're not going to be staying in the dump. Both of those things do both Priceline Express Deals and Hotwire Hot Rates. Those are ways to just save 40% on a hotel pretty quickly. There's that catch. And there's ways it'll show you pictures of it, and you can just search hotels in the area and find the one that matches up. So that way you know even what hotel you're staying in. Those are ways to save, 40% on a hotel. That's a big deal. City and culture passes. So I didn't know about this one, but I found this today. So a lot of cities, let's say you're going to Boston. You're going on a vacation to Boston. A lot of cities in America, at least, this only works for American cities, they'll give you can buy either, they call them city or culture passes, and it'll give you tickets to all the tourist locations for you'll save $200 if you want to do all of them. So if you were going to New York, it'll give you can buy a city pass, and I think it's you can go to the Met, you can go to the Statue of Liberty, you can go to the Empire State Building, you can do all these things, and it's just way less than if you were to just pay to do all of them. It's just a combined thing. Now, obviously, that doesn't work if you're not going to if you're not going to do all those things, you don't just need to buy it just to have it. But that is a good way to save some money on travel if you're going to a place where you're going to do a lot of things, touristy things like that. Restaurants, I know it's annoying. I know they ask you all the time, but becoming a rewards member really can save you some money. You really do get free stuff, especially if it's somewhere you go a lot. Some of them are like really good. Like Panera Bread has one where when you sign up, you pay like, I think maybe $9 a month, and you get free coffee anytime. Like if you work near Panera Bread, you get free coffee or tea all month. That's just one example, but there's a bunch of them. Chick-fil-A has a really good one, a lot of people have. And literally if it's somewhere you go a lot, you just scan it, you get points, and you get free stuff. It's really not that hard. Serve yourself restaurants. I love this one. If I have an option, I typically try to go to one of these. This is like Moe's, Chipotle. This is like Baja Bowl there in Asheboro. This is like Subway. These places where you go and you get your food at the counter, it's usually not that much cheaper, but you don't have to tip. So that saves you like 15, 20, 25%, depending on how much you tip. I don't know if you're big tippers or not. You don't have to tip there. Now, they're going to ask you. They're going to turn that iPad around, and they're going to ask you to give them something. But you don't have to at a place like that, whereas that's like 20% off a meal at La Hacienda or something. That's a good one. If you're going to go out, lunches are typically cheaper than dinners, and then a to-go box. Like, I know some people don't like leftovers. You're like, I'm not eating it later. If you got food on your plate, turn that one meal into 2 meals. Super simple. That literally cuts your meal in half. That is 50% because you're getting it over 2 meals instead of just one. It's hard to beat that. Some other ones. This one is probably the biggest if you're an online shopper. Don't save your card information on your device. Don't commit it to memory. Don't memorize it, and don't save it on your device. The thing that American businesses have mastered are making it as easy as possible to buy something. They have got us. It is so easy. Amazon, 3 clicks, I just spent $85, right? It's no trouble at all. I know what you're thinking, well, it's way annoying to not have my card information in there. And that's the point. Make yourself, every time, go to your wallet, get your card out, type the number in. I'm telling you, they've made it so easy, you think, I'm still going to buy everything I want. No, you won't. There's a couple things you'll be like, it's just not worth it right now. I just don't want to do it. Don't save your card information. Make it as difficult as you can to buy something if that's something you have a problem with. If you don't have a problem overspending, then you're probably fine anyways. But if you're like, I cannot stay off Amazon, that's a great way to do it. Honey.com, it's an extension you can get if you use Google Chrome. And this is one like he was saying. You go to honey.com and you can type in anything you're shopping for, and it will pull up every website that has it. It'll show you what's discounted, what's not. It'll even, on a lot of things, show you, like let's say you're looking for shoes. You're looking for a pair of Nike shoes. It'll pull up every website that's selling Nike shoes, the kind you want. It'll pull up the price of all of them. It'll show you which ones are on sale right now, which ones are not. It'll show you the price of that item, like the last 3 months. So have they dropped the price? Have they raised the price? They do this on all Amazon purchases. They'll show you and you can even look at trends and see, actually, like the 3rd week of the month is the best time to buy this item or something. It's super simple. It's not like you got to go through this crazy database. You just download the extension and you can search anything in the world. Retail Me Not, that's a great one. That's coupon codes. If you're buying online, just type something in Retail Me Not. Type in, like say I'm going to buy something on Walmart. Literally type in Walmart and you'll just see. Save 20% if you copy this code. Copy it, paste it, you save 20%. It's so easy. They do it on, like I said, any store. I did it today. I was looking for some workout equipment. I used it today. So, and then the unbeaten one is thrift stores. I know it's like, maybe you're like, I don't want to stop at a thrift store. It's undefeated. There's nowhere you're going to get better deals than a thrift store. Shelby does this all the time. These shorts right here, these are Adidas golf shorts. They're probably $50 in a store. Shelby got 4 pair of these for $5 a piece at a thrift store one time. Like, you're not gonna beat that. That is, what is that, 90% off? Like you're not gonna beat that anywhere else. That's, furniture, that's clothing, that's anything you're shopping for. It's tough to beat. It's kind of annoying to go in there and sometimes they don't have good stuff, but that is the best way to do it. That's the best way to get the best deal. So those are 30 money saving tips right there. Some of them you might be like, I'm never going to go through all that trouble. Some of them are super simple. And it's just a way that you can save $10 here, $20 here, $30 here. That kind of deal right there. So that's all I wanted to go over today. I wanted to go over emergency fund, where to put it, things like that, what a sinking fund was, and then just little tips to save on the margins here and there. Because that stuff adds up. It adds up, and because I know grocery store's crazy. I know it is. But if you can get $30 cheaper every time you go to the store, that's $30 you wouldn't have had if you didn't. So those are some good things. If you want help doing any of these things, if you want to see the list again or whatever, just come ask me. I got the list right here. But we are good. So again, next week is Easter. We're not going to meet next week. The week after that, we will be on vacation, and then we got 2 more classes. I should have looked up what date that is. It's probably going to be like the May 4th and May 11th or something like that. It should be right around there.
That's Mother's Day.
Oh, okay. If y'all would be fine, we could skip that one too, and do the one. If y'all would be fine with that, I'm good with that. I just got to be done by June. As long as I'm done by June, I'm good. So. We'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about that at our next meeting. But my guess is we're going to skip that one if it's Mother's Day. That's probably
Not to play baseball on Mother's Day.
yeah.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Learn that long.
I moved something off the camp that weekend too because it was Mother's Day. So we will do that. So I'll close this in prayer and we will be done. Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for your goodness to us. God, I pray that we will just strive to be good stewards of the blessings you've given us, and that we will serve you in all we have. Lord, we thank you for your goodness. In your holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. The one we learned.
You did not.
No.